Hello everyone. Today we're going to be making a gut healthy anti-inflammatory meal. And so I have some ingredients to list out for you so that we can get to it. If you are watching the replay, you can gather the ingredients and then make this on your own time. So today we are going to use cabbage, smoked salmon, or if you don't eat fish or meat or any of that, you can also substitute with beans, plantains, avocado, microgreens, onion, shallot, garlic, extra virgin olive oil, and coconut oil, sesame seeds, black pepper, and then a little bit of finishing salt. If you haven't followed me for a while, you know I like to make my super cute little bowls that I always make and post to my feed. So today we're gonna be making one of those. It's gonna be so super yummy and very, very easy to make. So anybody can make this dish. No matter if you are a beginner, you have zero cooking skills, or if you are just a wizard in the kitchen, which I am not. I feel like that's kind of ironic. As a nutrition coach, I should like to cook, right? But I don't. I don't really like to be in the kitchen all that much. So first I'm gonna start with some garlic. Just chopping up all of my aromatics. So garlic, onion, shallots, and things like that. And let me grab my onion really quickly. Okay. And then I just realized I'm chopping onion, so I think I've only cried in public like 2 times in my life, so there's that. But okay, so to chop, let me just lower this a bit so you guys can see. I already had an onion cut in half, so I'm just dicing this up. And then later on, I'm going to talk about kind of the benefits of all of the ingredients that we're using today and how they help to support a healthy gut. I hope all you guys are doing well. I just survived a massive little heat wave here in Seattle, which you think, being from Texas, it would be fine, but it really wasn't because we don't have AC. So it was pretty much like living in a sauna, and I mean, partially that's okay because it stays cool here pretty much like majority of the year. So it was kind of nice to sweat and like detox and get some of that out. But other than that, you know, being in it all day, that was not great. So hello, hi, thank you for joining. Okay, and then to peel your garlic. Garlic can get kind of messy, so I kind of just like to embrace the garlic. And then I'm gonna do probably about 3 of these cloves. So once you get off all of the just little stuff, little shell that's on it, then we'll be able to cut it. Okay, cutting up the garlic. Ooh, I actually don't know if this is good. It's kind of been chilling on my counter for a while, so okay, it is not good. Let's not use that garlic. Okay, but anyways, if you do decide to use garlic for this dish, it's totally optional. I know some people don't even like garlic, but yeah, so since it's bad, we're not gonna use it. I'm trying to stay with fresh ingredients today, and that's one of my tips for, I guess, healthy cooking is keep your ingredients fresh. Local and organic is best. of course, not everyone can afford organic produce, so whatever you can, definitely utilize fresh ingredients when possible. So again, just like the garlic, peeling off the shallot, it's kind of messy too, so getting off all the little skin part of it. And I didn't pre-prep any of the ingredients because I really wanted to show you guys how to start from like zero if you don't know anything about cooking, which is kind of like where I started when I first started learning to cook. My mother never really taught me, and that's totally okay. But yeah, so I started learning to cook in college when I didn't live in a dorm, because obviously living in a dorm is pretty challenging to cook in. Not to say that you can't, but it's just a bit more challenging. So, okay, I'm cutting off this part here, the end, and then the other end of this little root part. And we're not going to use this whole thing actually, so I'm actually going to use probably just a fourth. So cutting that up and then just chopping little pieces. And then I'll go back in long ways so that we have little diced bits. Okay, I'll put that over here with my onion. Okay, so now that we have the aromatics prepped, I am going to take you over here to the stove, and we will get the stove going. Okay, so for the aromatics, I'm going to use extra virgin olive oil. I don't really measure, I just kind of dump. I feel like sometimes it's easier that way. And then just spreading it all around the pan. And then this is what we'll be cooking. We're going to use this whole entire bag today. So this has shredded green and red cabbage. And then some carrots. It's from Trader Joe's. It's pre-chopped, which is so easy. I love any type of like hacks or things that save you time where you don't have to necessarily spend time like chopping things up in the kitchen. Let's turn this guy on. So opens, and then this is kind of just going to be chilling here until it gets hot. Definitely don't want to start putting things in your pan until it's hot, which I learned the hard way when I was first learning to make scrambled eggs, which is like, I don't know, one of the first things I feel like a lot of people learn how to make is scrambled eggs. Yeah, and then I just like cracked the egg on a non-hot skillet and it didn't really do much, so, but, okay. So I'm just gonna bring my aromatics over here and set this on this other pan. And then while we are waiting for the pan to heat up, I'm gonna show you guys a plantain, which I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with plantains. So they look similar to bananas. This one is actually a bit more yellow than I would want it. So Roland, my boyfriend, is out of town, and usually we both go to the grocery store together because I left my car in Houston whenever I moved out to Seattle. So he's the one with the car, so we kind of just do all those errands together to make things easy. So I ordered this from Amazon. It had grocery delivery, and this is kind of what they gave me. So yeah, there's some other, I think, more green ones that I'm probably gonna grab, so. And then let's see if we can Okay, and then for today, I think I'm only gonna use one plantain, and then we will chop that up in just a second. Plantains are kind of a bit more fibrous in their green state because they haven't really matured and ripened to be containing like a bit more of the sugars inside of the plantain. Just like a banana, when you eat a banana, it's pretty yellow because it is ripened and has more sugar in it. So, okay, this pan actually looks like it is getting pretty hot. So, yep. Okay. So I'm literally gonna dump all of this in there. And then we will kind of coat as much of the onion and shallot with the olive oil in the pan. And ideally, I'd want a nice, I guess, sizzle whenever I put the onion in the pan, so it kind of needs to heat up a bit more. I think I'm gonna turn up the heat just a bit more. So the heat is probably around, I don't know, if you have little numbers on yours, I have little numbers on mine, and it's between like 4 and 5 right now, so. Okay, and then we will wait for these to kind of do their thing, crisp up a bit, and then we'll add in our shredded green and red cabbage and carrots. And then I'm gonna take you guys back over here. We're very mobile today, just moving around the whole kitchen to chop up the plantain. So, the greener the plantain is, it is going to be harder to peel. So like it is the skin is really fibrous. Like it's pretty hard to peel it off the plantain. And then the greener it is, I would just get little like chunks of the skin as I'm peeling it off. So it can be a little bit frustrating, but yeah, it's not so bad. So I'm just gonna break that off. And then one plantain should actually be enough for your meal today. You might have some left over, but honestly, guys, they are so good that I never have any left over because I just end up eating them all. So I'm gonna rinse off my knife really quickly. And then when I say chop, just like about that thick. And I know the Instagram algorithm has been doing some things lately. Not everyone sees everything that I put out there, and you know, it is what it is, right? But the other day, I did put out something about plantains and how they are just wonderful for gut health. And I'm actually gonna like watch myself as I do this so I don't cut my finger, chop a finger off. The other day when I was rinsing my knife or just washing it off with a sponge, I slipped and then I just cut my finger right open. So hopefully there will be no kitchen casualties today. So, okay, once all your plantains are chopped up, we're gonna set them aside because I hear the onion and shallot in the background. So that's another thing when moving around the kitchen, is just to be listening for different things, and multitasking is kind of a must, you know? So now that they are, I'm gonna bring you guys over here, hopefully the phone doesn't fall in there. So they should be getting like kind of brown a little bit. And then after they're semi-brown, I'm gonna dump in my cabbage. Really the whole thing just will go in there, and then I'm gonna add a bit more olive oil to coat them on the top. And again, I don't really measure because I kind of just go with what I think will be enough. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Okay. And of course, if you're a beginner, you don't have to necessarily be multitasking all at once. You can pre-chop your things before you even start cooking, which is recommended so you don't, like, sometimes if I wasn't doing this live, I would have forgotten all about this and maybe the aromatics would have burned or something. So I am not the best at multitasking, and you don't have to be either. So yeah, pre-chopping everything before can definitely help, and then cooking one thing at a time. Today I just wanted to show you guys from the steps from the very beginning if you've never even cooked a thing in your life, and just to show you how easy it can be to make a delicious, healthy, gut supportive, nutritious meal for yourself with kind of limited experience in the kitchen. Okay, this looks pretty good, so I'm gonna turn on this pan now. We'll do probably between 5 and 6 for the heat on this one. And in this pan, I'm going to use coconut oil. This will be for the plantains. So, use this weird little scooper thing to get out the coconut oil. I kind of want to be generous with the coconut oil for the plantains because we are going to technically be frying them. Okay, put that over here. And then I'm going to show you 2 methods to smashing them, which makes them into that little plantain chip-like thing. So, okay, this cabbage is starting to look pretty good. I'm going to let it sit in there just for a little bit longer, and then just continuously making sure you are moving it around so it doesn't burn if it stays in one place for too long. I just started watching New Girl on Netflix, which I know it's not a new show, but I just discovered it. So at first I was kind of like, you know, Jess seems a little bit cringy to me as a person, but I don't know, I'm like 16 episodes in now and totally obsessed. But yeah, let me know if you guys are watching anything on Netflix that I should be watching. That's like my thing that I do when I just kind of want to like zone out, decompress. Okay, this looks good, and I think this pan is heating up slowly. So I'll put that there. Okay. That's another thing I do to kind of just check if the pan is ready for me to put something in, is to just place my hand kind of like over it. So we're gonna come back over here for the plantains. I don't really do anything other than chop them up. But yeah, so I kind of just wanted to talk about the benefits of plantains while we're waiting for the pan to heat up. So plantains contain resistant starches in them, which helps because they have dietary fiber, and that contains prebiotics, which helps your gut bacteria, helps to feed the gut bacteria that is beneficial for digestion and all those types of things. So, a little bit about plantains. And you know, I am kind of curious if you guys have ever, if anyone has like never cooked before. I would love to know if you have never cooked anything. That would be just kind of cool to know that this is helping you in some way. So yeah. Okay, we're going back over here. I know, back and forth, back and forth. This looks pretty good. And then I'm also able to smell the coconut oil heating up. Which is another sign that the pan is ready to go. Yes, and it is pretty hot. So, okay, the cabbage looks good. So we are going to give that a little shake, turn off the burner, and then set it aside away from the hot burner so it doesn't continue to kind of cook itself in the pan. Okay, so here's my little plantain pan. And with the plantains, I'm not just gonna dump them in, I'm actually gonna place them in so that they're all flat in the pan. And I would recommend doing this before you hear that sizzle. So as I was talking about the sizzle earlier, for the aromatics, it was best to place them when you hear the sizzle. I would do this before, so you don't have any popping or things that might hurt as you place them in the pan. So literally one by one. I had a playlist going in the background. I don't know what happened to it, but I think Instagram will disable you anyways, or end your live stream if you have like copyrighted songs in your live. So I guess that's fine, but yeah, so hopefully I will move the camera so you can see the sizzle. Whoops. Shortly, but just want to place all of these guys in before it gets any hotter. Okay. So, here we go. There is that sizzle going. And I'm gonna let these guys sit here for probably about 2 to 3 minutes. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna take my cabbage and put it in another bowl just so it doesn't continue to cook itself like we were talking about. And I'm gonna bring the camera up so you're not just staring at those plantains the whole time. Okay. Here we go. This pan is also incredibly heavy and hard to maneuver. I'm actually doing pretty great. I was kind of surprised this didn't just tumble all over the floor. Okay, here we go. is probably gonna be way too much cabbage for just this one little bowl that I'm cooking, which is perfect because I can utilize this cabbage for other meals that I can just kind of grab and go or plate and heat throughout the week or throughout the rest of the day. So I'm not gonna put the lid on it. I'm just gonna set it aside to cool off. And then, okay, these plantains are actually ready to turn. So I'm gonna rinse this guy off, and I'm gonna turn the heat down a little bit. So as it's hot, as I flip them, I'm literally just gonna turn them over. That one's a little bit toasty, so. Okay. So just flipping them over on the other side. Definitely don't do this with your hands like I did when I was placing them in here to begin with. And yeah, you should start to see that most of them are browning on the other side. We want this. This is really good. And then making sure to just turn those over as quickly as possible. And these ones over here, I think could use these ones that aren't as brown as the other ones. They could probably use some more time on the other side, but just for the sake of the demo, we are gonna turn everything over right now. I get some questions sometimes about like, why are you a nutrition coach if you don't really like to cook? And I think it's not that I don't like to cook, it's that I don't like the fuss. I don't like to spend like hours and hours preparing a meal when I know I'm just gonna eat it and it's gonna be gone. So yeah, I think that's one of the things that I try to incorporate in my coaching practice is just helping those who don't like to spend hours in the kitchen and they want to make something super quick but also healthy to maybe take with them on the go, or they have, you know, a bunch of different things going on in their life that they don't necessarily have the time to make this elaborate meal, you know? So I think that's a key characteristic of being a nutrition coach, is helping people to figure out these quick yet healthy and gut supportive, anti-inflammatory, nourishing recipes. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you back over here. I'm gonna turn off the heat now for this next part. It's gonna be pretty crucial to turn off the heat and kind of remove it from the heat. So I'm gonna wait for these guys to cool down a little bit. So when the sizzle kind of starts to fade out. And then I'm gonna take a pestle thingy and we're gonna smash all of them down in the pan. But definitely wanna wait until the sizzle stops for that. And then really, guys, these are the only two things that we're cooking. So we chopped up the onions and the shallots, and we decided not to use the garlic because it was pretty bad, which was such a Cam thing to happen to me, honestly. And then we cooked the cabbage, cooked the plantains, sizzle starts to stop. And so now we're just gonna pretty much plate a bunch of stuff. So I'll start mashing them down, and when I do this, I literally just press into them, and then I will take my spatula. Sometimes they stick, sometimes they don't. We'll just press them down and they will continue to kind of get crispier in this mashed state so they stay solid and they don't get like runny. Okay. This is a kind of a tedious step to this thing, but I promise you it is a very worth it step to kind of smash them down like this. And one of my friends, former clients of mine, she is Cuban, and she told me about this is actually a special dish that's part of their culture, and I am blanking on the name right now, so if you guys remember, please just comment it to let me know, so I am not doing these little guys a disservice by not remembering their traditional name. Okay, so pretty much got most of these smashed. And like I said before, you might have some left over, you might not. It's good to, like I was saying before, make things when you are cooking in bigger portions so that you have food that you can just plate and eat for later, that you don't have to worry about prepping again and again or cooking for every meal, which is, I hate cooking for every meal. I hate going to the grocery store like multiple times a week, you know? So, okay, we have 2 more to smash. And then after they're smashed, I'm gonna let them sit in the pan just to crisp up a bit more. And I'm actually gonna move them back over to the burner, not turn the burner on, but just to the burner that was heated. So they're gonna kind of just sizzle in there. And now, I'm gonna take you back over here, back to the kitchen countertop, and we're gonna plate some things. The sun decided to come out today, which I'm so happy about. I'm trying to like position the camera to where you can both see the plate and my face, so it's not just my head being cut off. Okay. So grab a fork. I'm gonna start with cabbage at the base, and you can literally plate this however you want. I am just gonna start throwing things in there. Make sure you get some of those onions and shallot pieces with your cabbage. Cabbage actually contains glutamine, which helps to coat your intestinal lining. And this is beneficial in so many ways because it helps to actually heal the lining of your gut, which if you are eating some of those like gut irritants that we talked about, I forget which part of the gut health series I did on that, but those 13 gut health killers, if you have been exposed to them, if you have been consuming them, this can definitely, glutamine containing foods like cabbage can help to restore your gut lining. And then as well as olive oil, it reduces the abundance of those pathogenic bacteria in your gut from those irritants that you may be consuming. So it helps to promote good probiotic bacteria growth in your gut. It's also high in polyphenols, which also do the same to help promote all the beneficial bacteria growth. So, okay, we have the cabbage. I'm gonna check on the plantains. I'm actually gonna grab the rest of our ingredients. So, avocado, microgreens, salmon, and just some little things to top it. So, take you with me as I do that. There we go. Okay, I usually have avocado pre-cut, and I just keep it in my fridge. So I usually consume avocado by the halves, which is helpful. I mean, just to, as we were talking about, you know, kind of grab it and put it on your plate. And then I have some fresh microgreens, which we're gonna put on top after everything. Then we have some wild salmon. There we go. Which, if you're not into eating raw salmon and things, you can also use like canned fish, or like I was talking about earlier, if you aren't eating meat or fish and all those types of things, you can substitute with beans, and you can do canned beans, any type of beans that work. Probably I would suggest for this particular bowl, black beans would work really well with this if you decided to forego the salmon. So let me just move some of these things out of the way. We're just making a mess here. All right, so we got our cabbage in the bowl. And then, oh my gosh, these plantains are just so yummy right now. I cannot wait to eat that. This pan's really heavy, but I just want to show you guys how just crispy and super just delicious these guys look. And there's still some coconut oil floating around in there. That is perfectly okay. We actually want that to drizzle on the rest of our bowl. So I'm gonna set this right over here as we add some plantains. I'm gonna go for the ones that are kind of more brown. Just gonna place them in there. Okay. I have not always cooked with plantains. I just recently started reincorporating them into my diet. And they're just a great like carbohydrate substitute for some of those other things like wheat or pasta or rice or something that isn't like grain heavy. So okay, this is what our bowl is looking like so far. We've got the plantains, we've got cabbage, and now I think I'm gonna add a couple more plantains actually, because they're so yummy. All right, so got the plantains in there. I'm gonna grab some finishing salt. So a couple of different spices. I don't like to put the spices in while I'm cooking things in the pan, just so if you're cooking for more people, they can kind of add in their own spices. Of course, if it's like a more complex recipe and it does require you to put spices in while you are cooking these things, totally okay as well. But yeah, this finishing salt, I just want you guys to see, is just a very thick, nutrient dense type of salt that we are going to kind of crush up. So just taking a pinch and just salt bang it up. I'll put a little bit on my cabbage too, and then kind of turning the plantains a bit, just a personal preference mine, to sprinkle even more salt on there. And there hasn't been any questions today on salt, which I am surprised, but salt is okay. It's just when it's in excess, just like, you know, anything in excess is when it starts to become bad. But we do need salt in our diets. Definitely don't cut it out. All right, and now I'm gonna go in and just take a bit of salmon pieces. And this is why it's so easy to just add the salmon later, because it's always in my fridge, ready for me to just grab and kind of add to any meal. Any type of ingredients like that are ready to go but still fresh, I love to utilize and keep in my fridge at all times. All right. Wash off my fingers just a little bit, just got all that salmon on them. Okay, and now let's add some avocado. Oops. You know what? I'm gonna try that little TikTok thing that I saw. So putting two fingers at the front and then pushing on the back to get the seed out. And it literally works so beautifully. I was so astonished when I saw that on TikTok, you know, that was the easiest thing. And I'm like, mind blown over the simplest little thing like that I had been doing, or not been doing my whole entire life. So honestly, there's probably like 5 plantains still left in the pan, which is, I don't know, it's hilarious to me because I knew I was gonna probably eat most of these. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna add this whole avocado in because we are pretty healthy fat loaded in this little meal today. But do whatever you want to do. You want to add in a whole avocado, add in whatever you want in whatever portions you want. All good things. So I'm just slicing it down the middle in little slices, and then I'm gonna go across like that to make little cubes. And then I'll just start peeling, and it will start falling in cubes into the bowl. Ooh, you guys can't hear it right now, but I've got Life is Good on by Drake. I would turn it up, but I don't want to get kicked off this little live stream that we have going. Okay. So, not the prettiest little bowl, but definitely very colorful. Got the avocado so far. And what am I missing? Oh yes, microgreens. So microgreens are gut supportive because they contain phytonutrients, and they are harvested when they are most micronutrient dense. So that is the cool thing about microgreens, is that they contain a lot more phytonutrients in a little powerful punch. Okay, so we are almost done here with this little bowl. The last thing I'm gonna add is sesame seeds to the top. Totally optional if you don't like sesame seeds. These also help with digestion, and they help with things to move smoothly through the small intestine. So I'm just gonna top this. Just sprinkle some on, kind of coating all over the bowl so you can see the details. And if you're hearing that in the background, the trash truck decided to join in our live today, so sorry about that. And then I'm gonna add some crushed black pepper. And all of these different toppings that I added at the very end are seasoned to your liking. You can use as much or as little as you want. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is just go in with a bit more finishing salt, not too much, just to get some more on the salmon and the avocado, and then the microgreens on top. Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at how just gorgeous this thing turned out. It is filled with so many nutrients in it that are healthy for your gut. I think we covered pretty much all of them, but just to go over again, the onions and shallot are prebiotics. They help to feed your good, beneficial gut bacteria that helps to promote more of their growth. And then what else did we do? Plantains, also a prebiotic. It helps to feed that good beneficial bacteria. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm looking at my notes right now that I wrote just before this. Smoked salmon, or wild smoked salmon, I should say, has very anti-inflammatory gut healing benefits. So it can help to heal an inflamed gut. Like I was talking about earlier, if you have been consuming lots of gut irritants, like those 13 gut health killers from part 4 or 5 of my series on gut health, definitely adding some smoked salmon can really help with your gut microbiome and helping to reduce some of that inflammation that you may be experiencing from those gut irritants if they are in your diet. And then has omega-3s. I also want to talk about avocado. Avocado is not commonly known as a prebiotic, but it contains just so much dietary fiber that it also helps to feed your good gut bacteria, gut buddies, that help to function. I mean, really, that is one of the things that the whole gut health series kind of I tried to demonstrate throughout is, I'm just gonna move one of my things over here for a second. The state of our gut helps to regulate your mood, serotonin production, your immune response. So your response to your immune system's response to whenever you are exposed to things like a certain virus or different bacteria and things that can be harmful to your immune system. It helps to strengthen that. And then it helps to keep your weight manageable. So I don't like to talk too much about weight because, as we all know, somebody could be very healthy and not necessarily by society standards look healthy. So my approach just as a holistic nutrition coach is to include a very inclusive environment. So focusing more on adding in these lots of whole foods like we've created here in this little bowl, and less on about being so restrictive and being so tied to this no list in your head. And naturally, by adding in more of these nutrient dense gut supportive foods, your body naturally will adapt to that and will start craving those things more, or just maybe not necessarily craving those things, but it will start to function differently. And as you start noticing those different feelings that you are getting after consuming a very nutritious meal like this versus a fast food meal or something that's highly processed, as you start to begin to notice these sensations from what you're eating afterwards. Like, I feel more energized after eating a meal like this. I feel not bloated after eating a meal like this. I feel like my brain is just cognitively sharper. And just speaking from personal experience on these different types of things that I noticed. But yeah, you as well can also begin to notice those things by just adding in more of these whole foods that help to support your gut, support your brain, your mood, and all of those things. Okay, so I think that is pretty much all that I wanted to cover today. Thank you to everyone who joined me. I am so grateful to have you guys here for this journey, and I am gonna go eat this super healthy meal now that I just made, get ready for the work day, and I will see you guys so soon. If you have any questions on making this recipe here today, any of the ingredients, I'll actually probably go back and add all of the ingredients in the comments so you can make this yourself to go along with my little demo. Or if you have any questions on how you can work with me, how I can help you to change up your diet, start eating more gut supportive foods, start getting into these rituals and habits that support your gut and your mood and reducing inflammation, please reach out to me. My DMs are open. You can visit my website to find out more information on these things. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful, beautiful day filled with gratitude and all of the things that you are needing. All right, guys, I will see you in the next live. Bye.